Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Financial Literacy with TC. I am your host, TC. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Financial Literacy with TC. Like I always say, you could have chosen any podcast in the world to listen to, but you chose to listen to mine, and I'm always appreciative of that. Today, I have one of my good friends, Crystal Ferguson. She's in real estate and she does financial services. So today's episode, we're going to talk about financial services from a life insurance perspective. And we're also going to dive into Crystal's past, present, and future. And she's going to give us some great advice about what she does and how she helps the community from a health and wellness standpoint. I'm so excited that she was able to join me. Without further ado, Crystal Ferguson. How are you, Crystal?
I am well today, TC. How are you?
I'm doing great. I was excited this week to connect with you because, as you know, I'm in the community a lot, and a lot of times I'm talking to our people about, hey, you should be taking care of yourself, not just financially, but also health wise.
Right.
And the fact that that's right along the lines of what you do and how you're in the community helping people, branching out. I'm seeing we've been connecting in a lot of different places,
right? So, and it was like your podcast. I was like, I expected to be on here, but I didn't expect so soon. So, thank you,
Yes.
for having me. I know this is my first; it won't be my last.
Absolutely.
Pretty sure I'll be back in like 6 months.
Absolutely. So let's jump right into it. Please share with our audience what you do and how you do it.
Okay. I work for, well, first and foremost, I am into real estate. I've been in the real estate profession for some time now. I work for an investment company. We are family owned. Well, we're an investment company. We're family owned. We're located in South Hills of Pittsburgh. We buy, we sell, we hold as well.
What's the name of the firm?
Genera Group. Genera Group, yes. And we actually branched out into financial services, which was an opportunity to help other people in the real estate profession acquire real estate another way.
Yes.
The financial services, we also help families, businesses, and individuals gain their financial and physical education, so they can, have wellness.
Right.
So that is what I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And I'm not sorry not to cut you off, but a lot of times, for those who first episode joining us, I'm in the financial industry. I work for a financial institution, and a lot of times I work with members, customers, or whatever you want to call them, and they don't really know how to, get into investing or getting into those services that create residual income and creates generational wealth. So a lot of times they have this thought process that is so easy to do. And in some aspects it is, but it's also strategic.
Yes.
You can't just walk into a financial institution and say, let me invest in this. Like, you really have to work with a financial advisor or someone in financial services so they can help you strategize and be strategic about what things you can invest in, what assets you have, what liabilities, etc. So while I'm so grateful for you to be able to have this conversation with me on this platform, is because we're speaking to people who I talk to every day and they just don't know, or they don't have the time to do the research and understand what that looks like. So I'm excited that you're able to dive into that a little bit. So my first question for you, let's before we dive into like giving the knowledge and giving the secret sauce, what got you on your journey? Was it high school, college? What propelled you to get into the field you are in now?
That's an awesome question. And it actually started with real estate. And it started when I was younger.
Okay.
I want to say when I was around like 11 or 12 years old. I would always say when someone would, ask me, what do you want to do when you get older? And it was always, well, real estate. One day I'm going to sell so much real estate and I'm going to sell it all over the world. So that was pretty much my dream. And it just stuck with me.
Okay.
It stuck with me, when I tried to go out and branch off to do something else, it's like it just wasn't there. Like the drive and the passion just wasn't there.
Right.
Like this one time I remember I thought I was going to be like some kind of stylish, and you know, when I sat back and thought about it, I'm like, well, you know, you're doing this for the money. You know,
Right.
you're not doing it because there's a fire burning in you to do it or because you have a passion or drive behind it.
Right.
So, yeah, and I just ran with that idea. It was just something that was just so interesting to me. You know, how could you not want to invest or even just learn about the most valuable thing in the world,
Right.
which is the land? You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
now, because we're speaking to our people, our communities, a lot of times I always say, you know, my podcast exists because I know so many who don't get a financial literacy education in the home.
absolutely.
Now, was that the same for you, or did you have to, you know, yeah, you may have knew about real estate, but did that originate in the home through family, or was that, you know, you had to get a mentor, you had, or someone outside of your household had to provide you that education?
Right. And to answer that question, it did not start at home.
Okay.
You know,
which I prefer, you know, as generations move forward, that's where our education starts to start from, because our counterparts, you know, they're already getting this knowledge based on mom and dad, 2-parent household, and you know, they're getting that wealth before they even, you know, jump out of college and high school. So
right.
really need to try to get in the homes. But I'm
sorry. Right, and I know honestly that was a awesome point, because that is true. We do need to have more of these conversations in the home, and need to start at an early age, yes. a very early age. And you know, and I honestly would advise to get the kids hands on once they're around 10, 11 years old. You know, we are creatures of habit, you know, yeah. So you want to instill awesome habits into your kids, you know, so they can then carry that on to their kids, right. You know. And as far as myself, though, it didn't start at home, but myself, I just always had this drive in me, like, I'm going to figure it out. Right. You know, it's going to happen for me, and I never doubted anything that I want to do. I never doubt whether if it's going to happen or not. It's just a matter of how. Right. You know, and that starts with just basic things like just educating yourself. Right. You know, and find a mentor. And find a mentor. Everybody needs a mentor. And when I say mentor, I don't mean someone that's trying to do it, someone that, you know, it's their plan to do it. No, find somebody that has already done what you want to do, right. And become a great student. Absolutely. You know, and also learn the power of implementive action.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when we talk about real estate, for those who don't know exactly what that is, obviously, you know, you mentioned it a few seconds ago talking about land. Can you give a basic definition to our viewers about what real estate actually is? And I phrase it that way because I have people, or I work with the youth as well. So I have young individuals, young men, young women who are interested in getting into real estate investing, and they don't really know what it is. They think they know what it is, but they don't. So I'm just curious in your experience with dealing with our communities, especially because I am now on a board for a nonprofit called Realty Thinking, which we'll talk about a little bit later, because I definitely want to get you involved with that as well. But where our target audience, our target market is low impoverished communities. So, you know, let's just a few out: Homewood, you know, Wilkinsburg, some of the areas where it's our people, but they're not really educated enough on what real estate investing is. So just when you deal with individuals in our communities, do they already have a good understanding on what real estate is, or do you have to break it down for them in that way?
For the most part, and I'm not saying it's the same for everybody, but
Right.
when I am dealing with someone, they do have some sort of knowledge, because I deal with people that are already homeowners.
Got it.
Right. You know, so, but if you're not a homeowner, I would suggest that you take courses. I would suggest that you watch videos. And I would suggest that you don't be the one that want to just start big. Like, okay, I'm going to just go buy something and I'm going to figure out how I'm going to flip it to profit.
Right.
Because the thing about real estate is that, you know, it's never the money. You know, it's all about education and numbers. Your numbers got to be correct.
Right.
You know, it could be the numbers being off or being incorrect could ruin everything.
Right.
So I would say start with just basic, well, consistently, but start with basic information, you know.
And I'll be honest, there's so many people in our community who want to give the secret sauce and want to share with our people what they do. I'm gonna go ahead and plug it right now. Nobleman Cigar Lounge, Wealth Wednesdays. You and I are frequent members of the establishment,
Right.
and we're in a room full of like-minded individuals who want to talk about what they're doing in real estate, how they're doing it, why they do it. And I encourage people to invest in yourself. Take time on a Wednesday and from 6 to 9, Nobleman Cigar Lounge, Frankstown Road.
Right.
Google the address. And take that time to come network and get around people who can help you navigate something that can be complex and can be tough to learn. But if you have people willing to share and give you information, you got to put yourself in those positions to receive it.
So. Right. And honestly, I can say that's one thing in our community. We do got to strive better towards that. People don't want to just put themselves out there and put themselves in a room where that opportunity is there for them. Like my mentor, I met him at a meetup event. And we've been stuck like glue ever since.
Right.
But if I would have never gave myself the opportunity to put myself in a position, I would have never met him.
Right.
And he's very, very successful. He's been in real estate for 25 years, and he built so many entities to never have to step outside of himself when it do come to business. So I am in agreement with you on that. Put yourself out there, go to meetup events, meet new people. Find out what people do. Don't just assume, ask as many questions as you can, because that's where the true education comes, Also the implemented action too.
Yeah.
On that. But yeah, I agree with that.
So from a financial service standpoint, is there a specific service that you care to share or can share with our audience that you think people should consider or think about? Obviously, you already laid out, it starts with owning a home, having assets. What specifically, as far as a service, would you recommend? Or I'll just put it this way, what's the most popular service that you or have experienced in your career helping people navigate when it comes to real estate?
Real estate. I thought you was going with the financial services right there.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? That's my bad. Yes, financial service. I
mean, because as far as the real estate, and there's people that reach out to me like, do you have something, that you're renting right now or you're renting out, just to clear the air, you guys, like me and my investment company, we sell properties. Not to say, because my mentor, he does rentals as well, but as far as for myself, I don't have anything for rent right now. I sell property.
Gotcha. I'm sorry. I was meaning financial services, but I got jumped between the two.
No, you're fine. And I would say the best thing is actually what we are doing at FinFit. It is pretty awesome. So we are showing people how to come up with a plan to be physically and financially well. Right. And the best thing about that is that we reward healthy behaviors. Yes. Just simple things like walking, eating fruits and vegetables, going to your doctor's appointments once a year. Those are things that we consider healthy behaviors, and we want to reward you for it and give you benefits that goes up every single year.
Right. No, and I love that because 2024, we're only 24 days in, and we all know people were coming up with those New Year's resolutions. I want to make more money. I want to lose weight. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I don't know how many people were on your radar, but the goal for this episode and what we want to do right now is let individuals know, hey, you offer a financial service that helps people not only increase income, but also have a well-balanced life and get rewarded for doing so.
Absolutely.
So you jump right into where I wanted to go next. So you've already mentioned FinFit. So just talk about your role and what you've been doing, how long you've been doing it, and just the best way you can break it down to the basics of people know. Because basically, when we talk about life insurance, I have life insurance for me and my wife. And the goal for us was just really to have a security blanket for something happens to us. But it's a lot more than that.
Yes.
A lot of times, people in our community, and again, I'm basing this off of people who I interact with and have over years, they think life insurance. If some, they only think about the bare necessities of what it is to its core, which is, if my husband dies, if my wife dies, my
Right.
kids are protected. But it's so much more to that, and especially what you do with FinFit, it has so much more benefits than I even realized. So if you could just get people to understand, exactly what we're talking about here.
Right. And, I want to piggyback to what you said. When you mentioned the life insurance, people automatically like shut down mode because
Yeah.
they think of death.
Right.
But it's like, listen to the words. It's life insurance. It's not
Right.
called death insurance.
Right.
Yep. So, you have the opportunity to grow some cash value, instead of just, paying every month towards a death benefit.
Right.
You have the opportunity to grow your net worth. You have opportunity to borrow funds, and you have the potential to become your own banker.
Right.
And
those are things that I would encourage anyone watching or listening to connect with you, a financial advisor. I'm in finance and I have my own financial advisor. I'm in finance and I have someone who takes care of policies for me. And so I would encourage everyone to connect with Crystal from the standpoint of understand that, like she said, life insurance policy isn't about death.
Right.
It's a component, but there's so much more you can do. And for for the sake of not giving anybody any bad advice, really the situation is based on your individual lifestyle. So what we're saying here is not one size fits all. You definitely want to connect with her so that way you can have an understanding that, hey, this is my life, this is what I got going on. I have kids, I have a wife, I have a husband, whatever your situation is, because everybody's financial situation is different.
Right.
They are able to game plan for you and give you the strategy that works best for you. There might be a certain dollar amount that is a little bit too pricey for you, but then there's a dollar amount that's perfect for you that you can take care of and be able to get all the services that you need. So if you can just talk about any testimony or story you have where you were able to help a family, an individual understand that this policy will do more for them. And when we talk about generational wealth, they need to understand what all they can do with this policy. If you have any stories that you could share.
Well, the one I do want to share is a business partner that I recently brought on, and he is actually into fitness. So he saw the benefit as far as just becoming a part of part of FinFit, and also the benefit in him having that cash accumulating policy. Because it'll benefit him as far as business wise. It gave him the opportunity to create another stream of income for himself. And on top of that, he just get continuous education.
Right.
So that's one thing one of several things that we do at FinFit. We want to help you. We want to sit down with you and we want to show you how to come up with that financial plan that'll help you in your future. And if not, and I don't want to say future like as far as like so many years down the line, but even within right now to 3 years down the line to 5 years down the line.
Right.
We want to help you structure a plan and show you how to actually execute on it as well.
And what I love about what I saw from the webinar that I attended, it was organized from the structure standpoint, letting you know you wouldn't be alone. You would have the support of an individual like yourself and many others. And a lot of times a system, people don't understand your job is a system. When you go there, they don't just, go make us money. They give you training, they put you in a place to be successful. So when we're talking about, making an additional income, with being an associate,
or not to cut you off, but you also have the opportunity to build out your own brokerage as well.
Right.
It's another stream of income, or you can build out your own brokerage and train and have people work under you.
Well, and you basically jumping on where I'm trying to lead
Right.
you to. If you could just talk about what that system and that structure looks like, because that is what caught my eye. Oh, this is very detailed on what the company is, what the company does, and how it benefits me. And a lot of times, people, if they don't see the value in it for them, which is in my mind is pretty obvious. Hey, you want to be healthy. If you want to be wealthy, you need to be healthy as well. You know what I mean?
Right.
What's the point of having wealth and not the health?
Right. And honestly, that we truly, truly believe in that. There's no wellness without financial wellness,
Right.
and physical wellness is just as important. You could be a rich person, but if you're not physically well, then it's like you don't get to enjoy the wealth.
Right.
But let's say you are physically well, but you don't have the finances, then it's like, you don't get to have as much fun.
Right.
And you don't really get to enjoy life. You're stuck in a job. You don't really get as much financial freedom. That's the word for this year and last year. Financial freedom. You don't get to enjoy it or experience it.
Right.
So that is what FinFit is all about. Giving you the opportunity to build that business laptop lifestyle. You can do it from anywhere in the world.
Right.
If you are a person that just love helping people and giving back to your community, it's another awesome opportunity because we are not educated in our community on finances at all.
Right.
Or even how to grow wealth, or how to start, or just the guidance.
Right.
So I love that FinFit opened up so many doors for opportunity.
So when I think about, because you said something that's intriguing to me, a lot of times, and I'm just thinking about the Pittsburgh market and Pittsburgh communities, we have so many people investing their time and energy wanting to be entrepreneurs, which I love. However, what I don't see or haven't witnessed, I'll say, is entrepreneurs taking the time to understand the multiple streams of income that they can generate based on doing something that's I'll say less risky, because here's why I say that. Starting a business takes some type of investment no matter what.
Yeah.
So you would rather invest a lot of money in, let's just use a restaurant, for example. Very risky business because there's so many things. Most restaurants don't even, 3 years is, within 1 year they're out of business. Some of them, if they're not, run successfully. And there's something like, investing in life insurance and being is an associate or broker is the correct term?
It could be both.
Okay.
Yeah.
But my point is, it's less risky to be able to help individuals in your community, and you're doing so. If you have that entrepreneurial spirit, why not tap into something that's less risky and get way more out of it, as opposed to trying to jump straight into starting a cleaning company or starting, a paper route, whatever the business is. There could be a lot more hurdles and challenges because it's a lot more risky and it's a way more bigger investment, where something like this, you're able to, minimum investment, but high reward. Right. And that's a lot of times when I'm like skeptical of our community, because I'm like, you're pretty much doing the same thing, but your investment is, 2-3 times greater that you have to put into the business to be successful, as opposed to something that's less risky, low investment, high reward. But just curious on your thoughts.
Yeah, and it goes back to risk, and the way I view that is, there's only risk when there's no education.
Right.
So
and that's my point. Like, a lot of times, unless you got a mentor or somebody who's guiding you in your entrepreneurial journey for your business, a lot of times these business owners are just, I'm gonna take a chance, and there's no studying, there's no research, and it's like,
or maybe they just don't know where to look for the proper information.
That too.
But then again, it's like, YouTube is everywhere. Not that I recommend YouTube, but
the resources are the resources are in abundance, and a lot of times, some people just don't, for whatever reason, got over $1,000 fund and don't.
Yeah. And which is why, in a way, I kind of don't want to hear excuses when it comes to this, because you would not I'm not going to say spend as much as $1,000, but if you could put away just a little bit of money aside, to make sure you're providing protection for you and your family and also building wealth at the same time, there's no reason why you can't do it. There's especially when everybody's going vacations, everybody so materialized as well. The clothes, the anything that'll lose value the moment you buy it. That's the way I want to put it. Versus being able to be in a position to where you're actually taking the time to have, get protection for you and your family and also build wealth at the same time.
So, no, I love that because at some point during the presentation, there was conversations about rewards just in people's everyday lives.
Right.
If you're able to, highlight some of those perks, because, I guess there was, correct me if I'm wrong, there was different tiers and levels that you could work your way up to where the rewards and perks become even greater.
Right.
If you can share a little bit about, some of that.
Yeah, we have Carrier John Hancock Vitality, and that is the program that rewards you for your healthy behaviors. Okay. So let's say if you just went to your doctor's appointments once a year, just watch what you eat, you'll be considered a silver. Right. Let's say if you got in, 10,000 steps, or you just maybe did a little bit of work around the house for 30 minutes, or play with your kids.
Things you're gonna do anyway.
Things that we are, yes, things that we are already doing. You would be, well, let's say if you did it at least 2 times a week, you'll be considered a platinum. If you work out, that's just a plus. Right. And that's another thing that I want to go over too, because I, said, physical wellness a lot, physical fitness. I don't want you to think that you have to be this big muscular person that's in the gym 24/7 and I can't eat anything. That's not the way we view fitness. We view fitness as just being able to get up and move your body.
Honestly, that's society got us fixated on that with, that's the standard.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. But just being able to move your body, being able to go on walks, or consider healthy behaviors, and we want to reward you and pay you for it. You're going to do it anyway.
Right. So when we talk about personal growth, I know for me, being in the financial industry has helped me in so many ways that I often have to take time to say, man, I was not this way 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Has there been any moments like that for you as you, navigate your journey and where you are now? Can you recall, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, no matter what the time frame is, where you've seen personal growth in yourself as opposed to who you were back then?
Absolutely. Man.
Imagine she wasn't prepared for some of these questions.
Right. Right. And honestly, because it's like I'm always striving. Right. I'm always striving, and I never stop. So I definitely see the change in myself every single year. Definitely a huge change this year than like where I am this year versus where I was last year. Last year I was still working a regular job. I felt like it was somewhere that I was not appreciated. Clearly, right. I'm not there anymore.
Right.
But yeah, if I wouldn't have left that job and just betted on myself and went all the way in, like I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now. Right. Yeah, I would not. Gotcha. So, yeah.
Sounds good. So we've established what you do. We've established how you're currently doing it. Who's an ideal, and I know, and I'm trying to structure this question for you. Obviously, your goal is to help people in the community. Your goal is to, work with people in our communities, be better educated. Who is the ideal person if you had to pick, oh, you know what? I got a line full of people. Who's the ideal client that you would want to work with? Is there skill sets, is there characteristics, is there traits that you're looking for individuals who you want to connect with? Or is it, I don't want to say baseline, because I'll be honest, I'm big on relationships. I don't believe everybody is for everything.
Right.
That's for, especially in banking, it's a relationship. And there has to be trust, and all this stuff has to be built. So if I'm structuring this question to you, is really just what are some things when you meet with people that you're looking for to see that it's going to be a great fit? Because I don't believe in just everybody, you know.
Right, right. And honestly, I love that question. When I sit down with people, I don't think of it from that standpoint, even though that's good, valid points, because I mean, you want to have the best relationships that you can. But when I do get the opportunity to sit down with people, I am just excited to be able to give them knowledge and education of, how they could change your lifestyle,
Right.
how they could change your finances. So overall, when I sit down with someone, my goal is to educate them as much as I can.
Okay. No, and again, I asked that question because there's no right or wrong approach,
Right.
Especially because I'm in financial services differently.
Right.
But
Right.
a lot of times, I'll use an example that happened to me today. We had a gentleman who wanted to talk about mortgages, and the issue that he presented was he thinks he could just walk into the institution and say, "Hey, what are your mortgage rates?" That's not how that works.
Yeah, like, sir, what the with you?
It's there's a lot that goes into getting a mortgage, and any good banker or any good advisor or anyone who does anything who can talk mortgages or do anything with mortgages, they don't just say, "Oh, these are the rates." That's not how that works.
Right.
It's, hey, let's have a conversation. Let's see where you're at. Let's look at. We need documentation. We need to strategically paint a picture of, because one, are you even credit worthy? So why would I just say, oh, this is a rate? We don't do that. And I bring that example up because, yeah, he was, someone we could help, but how he approached was very unprofessional. It was very, ignorant.
Yeah.
And I don't mean, I mean both type of ignorance.
That's what I'm gonna say. Like, it sounds like you just needed some, some education.
And so I say all that to say the goal was, hey, let me pump the brakes on how you're coming about this and let me educate you that I don't care what financial institution you deal with. You can't just say, hey, what are the mortgage rates? Because 9 times out of 10, the individual you talk to, they are not the mortgage people who are going to give you a mortgage. They're not sitting. You don't have access to them just like that.
Yeah.
So, not to get off on a tangent, but so my next question for you is, what are the future aspirations looking like? Obviously, you've been out and you've been at Nobleman, you've been at a lot of networking events. Hell, you came to our home buyer seminar.
Yeah. Honestly, out of support for you and Tamaya, I'll support anything you guys do because you guys support, you guys support me as well. So
absolutely,
you let me know what you guys are doing, and I am there every
absolutely.
time.
Well, and I guess that's where I want to go is, you're being more out there in the community, but how can we help get more people to you? What does that look like as far as where you're at 6 months from now, a year from now? Is it just getting more people exposed to you, or do you see yourself having how lofty are your goals?
Right, and I would definitely say the exposure, but anyone that has financial troubles, anyone that's looking to gain another stream of income, send them my way. Okay. Please.
I mean, and on that note, there's no better time to start telling people how they can get in contact with you. Obviously, I'll start with saying, if you are a subscriber to the podcast, if you're not, please subscribe now. Spotify, YouTube, Financial Literacy with TC on Facebook. You can always reach out to me to get in contact with any of my guests.
Right.
But Crystal, if you want to tell them how they best can get in contact with you.
Yes, definitely social media. My name is Crystal Ferguson, so make sure you definitely go at me.
Yes.
In the process of LinkedIn as well, so that'll be available soon.
Yes.
But right now, my platform right now is definitely social media. Okay. So yeah, just look me up, find me, reach out. Send me a DM. Let's sit down. Let's talk about it. Let's see what I can do to help, because that is my overall goal and also my reasoning for being here today.
Yes.
Just to put myself out there to see what I could do to help and educate our people.
Yes.
Because we have to do it,
And I will say, because for me, I had like every year I have a new target goal. Last year,
sorry, I did want to piggyback on that because you did ask about, my goals.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm sorry, not to cut you off.
No, you got it.
But yeah, my overall goals, and I feel like this will always be my goal, is just continuous education and what I am doing, help more people, continue to bring on more partners for myself, still thriving in real estate as well. And if you are ever looking to get into that, definitely reach out to me. Me and my team would love to help. We're all about that. We are solution providers.
Right.
And yeah, we would love to help. So let's reach out. Let's talk about it.
And what I love about that is, so kind of segue to what my goal was. My goal for 2024 was to do more collaborations. And I'll be honest, it's very intentional, Black collaborations. So when we had known each other for several months, and as we continue to build our relationship, my goal is, I have a list of people who do certain things. I call it my referral list. So I added you to 2024 referral list, and it was really because I do a lot, and while I'm not, while I know about life insurance and all the benefits and things of that nature, that's not my lane. It's not where my passion lies. So when I connect with people, because I connect with a lot of people, my goal is to have a data book or data. I haven't jotted it down, but I also have it in my head. Hey, you know what? Hit my girl Crystal Ferguson up. She is a great resource that can genuinely help you, navigate where you're trying to go.
Right.
And I'm very strategic about that because when you talk about people needing income, what's the biggest topic right now? People needing, their job is not supporting the lifestyle that they have or want.
Right.
So they need a side hustle.
Right.
So when you're talking about, plus, most people in the Black community need to understand life insurance policy is a huge asset to us, but we rather, go gambling, or we rather spend our money on PlayStation 5s, Xbox, instead of investing in stuff that will help generational wealth, help improve our life. And I don't mean to get on a tangent, but I genuinely believe that you are an individual who I can send people to, and they're in good hands. And yeah, I meet a lot of people, and I have a long list of people that I can refer people to, but I put you on the priority list as far as a referral. If I genuinely know, if I send somebody to her, she's going to really truly have their best interests in heart, and she's really going to do everything she can to guide them to help them better their life and their situation, not just financially, but also health-wise.
Right.
So.
Right. And thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate that because I know you have a lot of connections. You're very well connected. So, for me to be a referral is, that means a lot to me. So thank you. And vice versa as well.
Absolutely.
And there's other ways we go that I've actually been putting together of how we can work together too, because,
Absolutely.
you help people with mortgages,
Yeah.
One thing that we have a part of our financial services is we have a program, a debt relief program to help people pay their mortgages down from 5 to 7 years versus the 30 years.
Right.
So I've been tackling how we're going to, work together
absolutely.
on that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so, that's huge. So before we get ready to wrap up, the goal was for me to make sure individuals really understand that you do more than real estate. You do more than health and wellness. You truly are out here in the community trying to make sure that you're connected with as many people as you can and giving them an opportunity and a chance to really see something different than what's plastered on social media, TV.
Right.
And I really want to highlight and emphasize that because a lot of people are, if you're not doing your due diligence, where are you getting your content? Where are you getting your information? And a lot of times it's not that it's bad information or wrong information. It's information that's not applicable to you. So,
Yes.
Which is one of my biggest enjoyments of having you here is because, a lot of times people are getting information because it's tax time now, right?
Yes.
So most people are on their social media listening to the tax professionals and listening to these people telling you how you can generate wealth and all this and that. And it's not to say that they're wrong. It's to say you might not fit that situation that they're describing.
Right.
So,
or they're not helping you properly plan and prepare for it either.
Correct.
Or giving you the education that you need to make sure you are always afloat and in the best situation that you could be in.
Correct.
So,
or hell, they're in a demographic that we're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Community Forge to be exact. I like to plug them because they do. It's a phenomenal space we're in. They might be in California, Houston, Atlanta, DC. The the economics of those areas are vastly different.
Yeah.
So you have to, I think that's just a lot of things that people don't think about when they're gaining content and information. They think, oh, I'm going to go do that and get the same result.
Yes.
No, everything is not applicable to everybody.
Not true.
So I say all that to say, is there anything you want to leave people with? Lastly, any final words, thoughts that you want to share?
Yes, and it pretty much piggybacks off of what you just said. Go get a mentor.
Yes.
Go get a mentor. Make sure the person is.
Hell, I got like 5.
Right.
A lot of different stuff.
And I have about 3 now. Right. So go get a mentor. Make sure it is someone that is executing in what you want to do. Make sure that they have done it. Make sure that they are supportive of what you do. They don't limit themselves. They don't limit you. They don't put any doubt in you. They don't put any fear in you. And they're behind you 150%.
Yep.
Get with a team that want to see you thrive. Learn from people that are smarter than you. Never be the smartest person in the room. And if you are in the wrong room.
Yeah.
So
because then your growth is stunted.
Exactly. When they leave you stagnant, they leave you at a place that it's like, oh, well, I didn't see myself here. I see myself in a much higher place. Well, it's like, okay, well, get around people that make you very uncomfortable.
Right.
Get around people that call you out.
That challenge you. Yeah.
Right. That call you out on your stuff, and when you're not, doing the best that you can do.
Absolutely.
That's just, if anything, make sure you get a mentor. And if you want the opportunity to build wealth, gain financial independence, come see me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, this is Financial Literacy with TC. I just want to make sure you guys, if you like the content you're being given and you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, share on Facebook. The more eyeballs, the more exposure, the more views. This is for the community. It's not, for my own benefit. It's really to help individuals understand a lot of different things about financial literacy, financial topics. It's about having representation in our communities. A lot of times when you hear financial literacy or you Google it, it's someone who's a rich white billionaire, millionaire, and they're telling people how to make money and do this and do that. Meanwhile, their wealth might have probably just been handed to it or inherited. So when we talk about financial literacy, I just want to make sure I'm representing and bringing guests on who can have a level of testimony and experience that they can share with our community, who truly know what we've been through and what we're going through as we talk about financial literacy. So I say all that to say, like, subscribe, share, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. No matter how you consume the content, if you like it, support it, start sharing it. And if you got some experience, you can be a guest. So with that being said, this is Financial Literacy with TC. I want to thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next episode.